Howard Kendall makes just one change to the team that won that crucial game at White Hart Lane on Wednesday night. That's at number 3, where Pat Van den Houw has picked up a knock and who's replaced by John Bailey, who celebrated his 28th birthday just last week. Everton go into this one at the top of the First Division table and are unbeaten in 18 consecutive games in all competitions, and that's a run that started with a 2-1 win against this afternoon's opponent Sunderland at Roker Park on Boxing Day. Sunderland manager Len Ashurst is back on familiar ground. He was born not far from here in the Liverpool district of Fazakerley. Sunderland lost against Everton's city rivals Liverpool in midweek, and Ashurst makes 2 changes this afternoon. Number 6, Sean Elliott, is back after suspension, and another Scouser, Steve Berry, is also back in the starting 11. Sunderland start this afternoon's game 5th from bottom in the First Division table.
The semi-final against Luton. Train tickets and coach tickets all available, obviously as soon as we reopen the game on Tuesday morning. Let's have a nice welcome for the master, ladies and gentlemen. That's Jeffrey Ireland, the third group of and a very happy birthday to you, Jeffrey.
Well, Everton have clearly lost the toss this afternoon, because Sunderland have opted to defend the Gladys Street end in the first half. Little handshake between Chris Turner and Neville Southall. The referee this afternoon, by the way, is Vic Callow. Everton know that the title is within reach, and Howard Kendall also knows, and he stressed this week, there is still a lot of football to be played. We are underway here. It's a sunny Goodison Park. It's Everton against Sunderland. Sean Elliott brings the ball out of defence for the visitors, drills it forward, but drills it straight to Gary Stevens, and he hopes it's safely back to Neville Southall. And here's a first touch for ever popular John Bailey. Good knock as well with his left foot, but Graham Sharp just couldn't get his head on it. He's had to be patient, John Bailey, but I think every Evertonian will be glad to see him getting the run out this afternoon. Very important, this game today, at both ends of the First Division table. Ratcliffe wins that header. Sheedy. Straight to Barry Venison. Bennett lays it down this right-hand side. That'll be a throw in for Sunderland. Walker towards Ian Wallace, and Ian Wallace has found the back of the net, and Sunderland have taken the lead with 90 seconds gone on the clock. Well, it was an excellent delivery, and it was a very, very well-placed header. Nothing Neville Southall could do, and who saw that coming? Well, Everton 0, Sunderland 1, less than 2 minutes on the clock. And that has stunned Goodison Park. Well, on Merseyside last week, we had a 50-1 shot. Last suspect win the Grand National. And we've just seen another rank outsider take the lead this afternoon. Ian Wallace. Still a long, long way to go. Challenge. And Mr. Callow agrees. Paul Bracewell on the seat of his pants by Sean Elliott, and it'll be a free kick on the right hand side for Everton. The Goodison faithful would love to bring the hit back quickly. In comes the free kick, it's hanging, it's headed away by Pickering and then helped on its way by Clive Walker. Bailey heads it forward. Trevor Stephen just about keeps it in play. What a bright start to the game this has been. Venison. Kevin Ratcliffe will get there before Clive Walker, and play it back to Neville Southall. Well, 1-0, 1-0 is the chant from the travelling Sunderland supporters in the Park End, and I'm sure that, like everybody else, probably around the country, they can scarcely believe that their side has taken such an early lead. Andy Gray beats the ball by Bennett. Here's Bailey. Paul Bracewell, deep cross, good cross. Doesn't reach an Everton player until it finds Gary Stevens. Got Peter Reid in support. Gary Stevens, he uses Peter Reid. Can Peter Reid keep it in? Yes, he can. Squeezes it across the penalty area. Sunderland deal with it and hack it to safety. And I am sure Len Ashurst, on his return to his native Merseyside, will be expecting a bit of an Everton onslaught as they try to get back into this game. They won't get back into it that way. Too strong a tackle by Paul Bracewell on Gary Bennett. That'll be a free kick for Sunderland. I'm sure at every opportunity Sunderland will try and slow the game down, slow the pace of the game, because they know what's coming. 18 games undefeated for the Toffees, as I mentioned earlier, a run that started on Boxing Day at World Cup.
To go to the police room as soon as possible. That's Mr. Anthony Seddon of Litherland Road in Bootle to the police room as soon as possible. Thank you.
Long kick from Chris Turner, dealt with by Mountfield, picked up by John Bailey. Gary Bennett up to be climbing all over Andy Gray. Mr. Callow agrees. Well, Howard Kendall, I think, will be pleased with the reaction that his players have shown since that early shell shock. Good flick on by Sharp, carried away by Pickering. Peter Reid can only head it into the path of Clive Walker. A good challenge comes in, and Everton win it back. Trevor Stephen. Good ball and a good take by Bracewell. It's ushered away from goal by Pickering. Bracewell goes down under the challenge, but I think that'll be a throw-in for Everton. And if Peter Reid leaves it for Gary Stevens, it'll be as good as a free kick, because Stevens will propel this ball right into the danger zone. In it comes, good height, good length, headed away by Gordon Chisholm. Volleyed back by Trevor Stephen. Half-hearted appeals for a penalty, and then Mr. Callow does put his whistle to his lips, but it's to indicate a free kick for Sunderland. What a start this has been. This first 6 minutes have absolutely flashed by. Not the start that Everton wanted, but as I alluded to before, it will certainly be the response that Howard Kendall and Colin Harvey were looking for. Bailey climbs well and wins the header. Sheedy's in sharply to block the forward pass from Venison. It'll be a throw-in for Sunderland.
Today's golden goal is 1 minute and 21 seconds.
1 minute and 21 seconds for your golden goal. Well, I tell you what, whoever had the 1 minute 21 ticket would have thought they'd have had a chance had it been Everton. Nobody would have predicted an opening goal from Sunderland. Trevor Stephen picks up that loose pass, reaches the edge of the penalty area. Good foot in by Chisholm, good support played by Gary Stevens, and good footwork. Decent ball in as well. Sharp's in there, Gray's in there, they're all in there. And eventually, did that go behind? Sunderland have got it away, but not very far. They're still under pressure. Here's John Bailey. Oh dear. Well, we'll put that down to a bit of ring rustiness. But there was an almighty scramble in there just a few moments ago. Sharp was involved, Gray was involved, Trevor Stephen was in there. And eventually, John Bailey's efforts from distance was of slightly more trouble to the St John's ambulance man sitting by the corner flag than it was to Sunderland goalkeeper Chris Turner. Turner kicks it long eventually. Anfield beat in the air, but Kevin Ratcliffe tidies up. Sheedy. Back to Reed. John Bailey. Got caught there, I think, John Bailey. I think he saw it coming, John Bailey. I think he used all his experience there, did Bales, and skipped out the way of the challenge. It was from Barry Venison. And Venison actually came off second best in that one. Peter Daniel just having a word with the Kelly, the referee. Well, he made history, Barry Venison, just a couple of weeks ago when he captained Sunderland in the Milk Cup final against Norwich City, a game that Sunderland ultimately lost, but at the age of 20, Barry Venison became Wembley Stadium's youngest ever captain. Sean Elliott, of course, the regular skipper, and the skipper this afternoon, suspended for the Wembley showpiece against Norwich City. Barry Venison at the age of 20 stepped up to the plate and wore the armband. There was no free kick given for that challenge by Venison on John Bailey. Gary Stevens, another ball into the box, helped on by Gray, flicked into the air by Graham Sharp. Bennett wins the loose ball. Bracewell guides it to the left-hand side where Sheedy's waiting. Low ball in by Sheedy, reaches Paul Bracewell. Bracewell gets a cross in. Sharp, Gray, yes, no! Oh, Andy Gray sliding in at the far post. Just couldn't get enough purchase, couldn't get the angle on it to force the ball home. But Everton are certainly knocking on the door here. Sunderland firmly on the back foot, having had the temerity to take an early lead here at Goodison Park against the league leaders. Sunderland are now penned in. This Turner can only find touch, so the Blue Army will swarm forward again. Good footwork by Steve Berry. So Derek Manfield well, he was going to play it back to Neville Southall, but Ian Wallace was there to block it off. A free kick for the Toffees. Jump a little bit too early, if anything. Sheedy's volley is blocked. Gary Stevens puts it back into the danger zone, but it bobbles and it bounces and it drifts wide of Chris Turner's post, and Sunderland's precarious advantage is protected. Everton 0, Sunderland 1. Sunderland have only won twice away from home this season in the First Division, and that was at Ipswich. And also, ironically, considering they lost against them in the Milk Cup final a couple of weeks ago, Norwich City. Bizarrely though, with such a poor away record in the First Division, en route to that Milk Cup final, Sunderland won away at high-flying Tottenham, Watford and Chelsea. 3 teams in the top half of the table. Sunderland won away at each and every one of them on their way to Wembley. How Len Ashurst wishes that Sunderland could replicate that away form in the First Division. Still, so far so good this afternoon. Ian Wallace in the 1 minute 21 seconds has given Sunderland the lead. Sharp can't get there, Gray can't get there, Chisholm can, whacks it to safety. Headed back by Mountfield. John Bailey will chase it down and control the volley forward. Bennett underneath it, doesn't get much purchase on the header. Elliott does slightly better. Peter Reed beaten in the air, but the referee has penalised Peter Daniel. That would be a free kick for Everton, but Bracewell wastes no time in feeding to Gary Stevens. Wide to Trevor Stephen. Pickering backs off. Trevor Stephen takes him on the wide. Gets the cross into the back post. Headed across goal by Sharp. Chisholm's in there. Mountfield's in there. Bracewell puts it back into the penalty area. But it's touched back by Stan Cummins, of all people, into the grateful arms of Chris Turner. Sunderland are being roundly booed by the Goodison faithful for their slowing down tactics, but you really can't blame them because they're struggling to make any inroads in the final third of the field at the opposite end. Neville Southall beaten in the second minute, but there's just little else to do since then. And wins the header. Trevor Stephen has all the time in the world to chase it down. 11 clean sheets so far this season for Neville Southall. Won't be making it 12 today. It's a precious little that the Everton keeper could do without Ian Wallace's header. It was all about the delivery actually. It was a super ball in from the former Chelsea winger Clive Walker, wasn't it? Mountfield scoops it forward. Controlled by Pickering, half volleyed forward by him. Walker will chase this. And it bounces over Clive Walker and Kevin Ratcliffe. Composure itself. He had that fully under control, the Everton skipper. He knew the bounce would Fox Walker. Again. It's been a good Everton performance this. Bizarrely, as it's 1-0 for Sunderland. Gary Stevens to Trevor Stephen. How many times would we say that this afternoon? Bracewell leaves it to Reed. Reed powers forward, goes into a strong challenge, but Gary Bennett wasn't going to pull out either. There's nobody in the final third of the field as the shadow of the main stand stretches itself out across Goodison Park. It's a lovely spring afternoon here on Merseyside. Sharp wins the throw in. Long one again from Stevens. It's over Sharp. Chisholm's there. Clears his lines and there's certainly deflection off an Everton player because it will be a throw in for Sunderland in exactly the same position from whence Gary Stevens launched his own throw in. Bailey. Back to Southall. Lead by Sharp, but good tidying up by Barry Venison, and again Bennett put his foot through the ball. He's going to be a key figure this afternoon, Gary Bennett, experienced player, the Sunderland defender. He is in action again, this time Elliott heads it away. Picked up by Kevin Sheedy. Sheedy turns, low cross, Bennett's there again. John Bailey controls it. Nice ball from Bailey. No, it wasn't. Clive Walker came from nowhere to intercept. Here's Cummins for Sunderland. Barry Venison will just have a little dribble and he'll play it to Elliott. Elliott will knock it long towards Cummins. Bailey gets underneath it. Gary Stevens looking for Sharp, just couldn't extend his long right leg to get a touch on the ball, and Chris Turner is grateful to get hold of it, and once again he'll take as long as he can before he punts it long. Wallace is underneath this. Ratcliffe wins it in the air. Bennett smashes it high. It's an old-fashioned up and under free header for Gary Stevens. Pickering nods it forward again. Gary Stevens is content to let the ball roll out of play, and Sunderland will be quite pleased that they've not quite weathered the storm, but they've certainly taken the sting out of proceedings. They really were on the back foot for a while, but with coming up to 18 minutes gone, they would have bitten your hand off for a single goal lead at this stage, and Clive Walker is flagged offside on that occasion. Oh, Bennett caught in possession. Trevor Stephen didn't catch the shot as flush as he would have liked to. But Gary Bennett just dallied on the ball for a split second, and that's all it needs against this Everton side to put yourself in real danger. And Trevor Stephen lashed it wide. Well, he scored his first England goal a couple of weeks ago when he netted the opener at Wembley against Republic of Ireland, and he's already got 12 goals this season, Trevor Stephen, including the clincher in that massive game at Tottenham Hotspur at White Hart Lane earlier this week. But he just didn't catch that effort there as well as he would have liked. And it was no danger, in truth, to Chris Turner. Kevin Ratcliffe, Mountfield, Elliott again delays it too long. Andy Gray inside the penalty area, all he could do was poke it goalwards really, and Chris Turner was able to smother it, but again Sunderland just caught in possession, just not crisp enough. Bennett. Good header, Kevin Ratcliffe, towering header by the skipper. Venison, Daniel, back to Venison again. It's good football, but once again the offside flag is up on this near side. Kevin Ratcliffe and Derek Mountfield do organise a high line. It's a well organised high line, but that's an awful free kick and hands possession straight back to Sunderland, who have got to the 20-minute mark. Still ahead. Once again, Clive Walker, lack of concentration. Well, when Sunderland are under pressure, the last thing they want is for their strikers to switch off and keep getting caught in offside positions, but that's what's happening at the moment. Bailey, good free kick, headed on by Gray. Trevor Stevens just couldn't get on the end of it. Gary Stevens. Oh, good strong challenge comes in from Pickering. And then he's on his feet to help it safely back to Chris Turner. Ratcliffe drills it forward. I'm not sure he was aiming for Graham Sharp, but he found the big Scot, even though it was fizzed at him too fiercely for him to control. Daniel to Wallace, wide to Pickering. Crossed into the penalty area, it's over. Everybody chance inside the box. I think that was for Steve Berry. Liverpool ball midfield player. Got himself in a really good advanced position. And thankfully for Everton, just couldn't get a touch on it. Well, I think once again the offside flag was up on that far side. There you go. That's the shout. Up goes Gray. Pickering. Everton win it back. Gary Stevens. Trevor Stevens. Moves so well, doesn't he, Trevor Stevens, when he brings the ball in field. Here's Mr. Perpetual Motion, Peter Reid. It's good stuff, this, from Everton. Good possession football, but Howard Kendall, I'm sure, will be wanting a tangible end product. Might get it now from Kevin Ratcliffe, of all people. Well, he cleared the crossbar and was always likely to from the moment that it left his foot, but it was worth a go from Kevin Ratcliffe, and he struck it well enough. Just the one goal so far in his Blues career, and that was in January 1983, away to Norwich City. It was the winning goal that day, the only goal at Carrow Road, and since then Kevin Ratcliffe has led Everton to an FA Cup final, he's led Everton to the top of the table, he's led Everton to the semi-final of the FA Cup and the European Cup Winners' Cup, but he still hasn't managed to find the net again. And what a momentous week it is. Possibly one of the biggest weeks in the history of Everton Football Club. A win here today, if they can turn this around, and Everton will remain 4 points clear at the top of the First Division as they work the ball into the penalty area again. Sharp to Reed. Wide it goes to Gary Stevens. Gary Stevens trying to make a little bit of space for himself on the right hand side of the penalty area. It goes for goal and just clears the crossbar. It's coming. It's coming. It took a deflection on the way. It's a corner kick for the Toffees. It was well struck by Gary Stevens. He's already got 4 goals this season from right back. In comes the corner from Sheedy. Up goes Mountfield. Comes off Bennett. Again appeals for handball, but mainly from the Gladys Street rather than the men in blue. Good little reverse pass by Peter Reed. Sheedy. Good control by Kevin Sheedy. Switches the play to Andy Gray. Gray swivels and plays it to John Bailey. Bailey's cross is deep. Headed back across goal. Sharp can't get there. Gray can't get a shot away. Sharp challenging for the ball. Breaks for Trevor Stephen. Back to John Bailey again. He'll put it right back in again. Again he hangs it deep. And this time it's out of play on the far side. And it'll be a throw in for Sunderland. Well, I was just saying about the momentous week in the history of Everton Football Club. As I say, a victory today, and Everton will stay at least 4 points clear, depending on results elsewhere in the First Division today. Bayern Munich in Germany on Wednesday in the first leg of the European Cup semi-final, and then Luton Town at Villa Park next weekend in the semi-final of the FA Cup. What a time to be an Evertonian. The T word hasn't been mentioned at Goodison Park, I know that, the treble. But, well, it's certainly within Everton's grasp. There's a little bit of work to be done this afternoon here against a dogged Sunderland, who still lead by that Ian Wallace goal to 0. But Everton have another corner. Kevin Sheedy again. Again, it's on the button. Helped on. Mountfield can't get there. Nothing's falling Everton's way inside the penalty area, and here's a break for Sunderland, and Clive Walker is through on goal, and Clive Walker, the offside flag's up. The offside flag is up, thankfully. Clive Walker will dispute it and have every right to do so. John Bailey and Gary Stevens having a little bit of a set to, because although the goal's been ruled out, there's still questions asked now. Kevin Ratcliffe and Gary Stevens are having words. I'd like to see that again, you know. Clive Walker possibly just the wrong side of Kevin Ratcliffe. Well, that would have put the cat among the pigeons, wouldn't it? All this talk of staying 4 points clear at the top of the table would have been under intense pressure had Sunderland gone 2 goals ahead. And it all came from an Everton corner, don't forget. And that's what they've got again now on the left-hand side. Trevor Stephen knocks it in, headed away again. Just no way through for Everton at the moment. Good ball in from Stephen. Good control by Sharp. Lays it off back inside the penalty area. Andy Gray goes in strongly with Turner, and that'll bounce behind for another corner kick. Andy Gray came off second best then in that challenge with Chris Turner. Well, he's only 5'10", Chris Turner. He's not the tallest goalkeeper in the First Division, but he's a game boy, and he wasn't going to pull out of that one, and nor, obviously, was Andy Gray. Corner for Everton. Again, the Blues are asking questions. In it comes. Mountfield's in there, but it's headed away. Picked up by Peter Reed. Back to Sheedy. Gary Stevens. Again, it's a deep hanging cross, and again, Bennett's there. Mountfield will keep it in play and guide it back to Trevor Stephen. Into the penalty area again. Once again, it's headed clear. Gary Stevens. In comes the cross from Sheedy. Andy Gray can't get there. Yes, he can. And has he won a corner? No, he hasn't. Well, he wasn't going to give it up, was he, Andy Gray? He wasn't the favourite to get there first. And he deserves the applause he's getting from the packed Gladys Street behind Chris Turner. But it's still, with 28 minutes gone, Everton 0, Sunderland 1. bounces off the back of Graham Sharp, but unlucky there. It was Sharp, good win by John Bailey. Peter Reid couldn't get a header on the ball. Wayne Daniel will bring it away. He's past Bracewell, but he's not past Graham Sharp. Good strong challenge by Sharp and his fellow Scottish striker Ian Wallace. Good skill by Stevens. Good ball in as well. But Bennett is happy to leave that to Chris Turner. Venison into the channel for Walker. Kevin Ratcliffe stands his ground. Walker brings the ball in field. And Ian Wallace is surely offside. And he is. And again, I've mentioned it before, but Len Ashurst won't be happy with his front two. He'll be pleased the side are winning, and he'll be pleased with Ian Wallace for his goal contribution, but they're getting caught offside too many times, I'm sure, for the manager's liking. Boring Everton, sing the Sunderland fans, I think, with a high defensive line. Well, if you can be boring and be 4 points clear with 2 games in hand, I think we'll all take it. And Everton have been anything but boring this season. And they'll take the throw in. Stevens wins the header. Sharp stumbles in possession, and Steve Berry can knock it safely infield to Chris Turner. Well, it's the Sunderland supporters you can hear singing in the background away to our right hand side in the park end, and why not? They haven't had a great deal to cheer about on the road, but they are this afternoon. They're leading Everton, the league leaders, by 1-0. Here's Kevin Ratcliffe trying to do something about it, but he's run into a red and white striped cul-de-sac and has to guide it wide to Stevens. Infield to Peter Reid. Sheedy. Sharp. Again, no way through. There's just so many Sunderland players between Everton and Chris Turner. And thus far, Chris Turner has been well protected. I'm sure Howard Kendall would love to restore parity before the end of the first half. Will it come now? Gray heads it away. Pickering helps it on. Here's John Bailey. To the feet of Peter Reid. Bailey crosses to the back stick. Turner comes and loses it. Well, Sean Elliott was on hand to volley that into the Gladys Street for the corner, but that was shades of the 1984 Cup final there, wasn't it? A hanging cross from the wide position. Andy Gray challenging with the keeper and beating the keeper to the ball. Against Watford at Wembley, the ball found the back of the net. Against Sunderland at Goodison, Sean Elliott lashed it to safety. Trevor Steele to Bracewell now, room for the cross. Bracewell stands it up towards the back stick. Gray gets a touch on it, can't direct it goalwards, and Steve Berry can clear his lines. Wallace, the challenge. Bailey and Graham Sharp is judged to have been fouled, and straight away over 30,000 voices as one chant the name Kevin Sheedy. Sheedy's over the ball. Peter Reid as well. Gary Stevens is there. Trevor Steven. Do you know, if anything, it might be a little bit too central for Kevin Sheedy. It's going to be one of either Sheedy or Stevens. Sheedy runs over it. Gary Stevens blasts it straight into the wall. Bracewell picks up the loose ball. Mountfield to Trevor Steven, but it's not the best ball, and Sunderland can break here with the right pass. And that wasn't the right pass. Good challenge from Bennett Mountfield. Ratcliffe. Good ball. Peter Reid. Peter Reid brings it infield. Reed, low cross, looking for Andy Gray, finds Andy Gray, and Andy Gray finds the back of the net with a fabulous diving header, and that is a pure Andy Gray goal. He goes to Peter Reed to thank him for his assistance. It's a lovely drilled cross from Peter Reed, and Andy Gray full length to head it past Chris Turner, and parity has been restored, and isn't he pleased about it, Andy Gray, and why not? It's his 9th goal of the season, 2nd goal in 4 days after his strike at White Hart Lane, and that will just settle the nerves here at Goodison Park. It was a well-crafted goal, pure Andy Gray finish. He loves a diving header, and more importantly, it's Everton 1, Sunderland 1. Now then, the Black Cats have defended resolutely for 33.5 minutes. What have they got in the tank? Bailey knocks it long, up goes Gray, doesn't win that one, Sheedy does. Gary Bennett scrapping away with Graham Sharp, and Graham Sharp just nibbling away at the heels of Gary Bennett. Free kick for Sunderland. Gary Bennett's younger brother, is the younger brother of Dave Bennett of Coventry City, who played here in September. I'm sure it was every bit as busy as Gary Bennett is going to be this afternoon. There's Kevin Sheedy. Good ball in field to Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe square pass to Gary Stevens. There's a buzz around Goodison Park now. Reed, good play again. Gary Stevens, deep cross into the arms of Turner, who spills it. And Andy Gray comes on hand to challenge. There's been a fair old tussle between those two, hasn't it, this afternoon? Chris Turner and Andy Gray. And I don't know, real pressure. Turner fumbled at that one. Andy Gray just couldn't get there in time to cause him any more grief. It's a heavy challenge. Mr. Callow. Is he giving Everton a free kick, or is it just a throw in? No, it's a free kick on the right hand side. Gary Stevens takes it quickly. Chance to get the ball inside the penalty area. He's taking it too quickly, actually. And it will have to be retaken, or is Graham Sharp offside when he got the ball? I think Graham Sharp's been adjudged offside. That one puts Derek Manfield, who ran 70 yards to get himself into the penalty area. But things are looking a little bit rosier in the Goodison Park garden, aren't they, since that goal? You have to say it's absolutely nothing less than Everton deserve. Here's John Bailey. Headed away by Venison. Again, the offside flag is up on that far side, and again the Everton defensive line does its duty. Is Ratcliffe. And it over Liverpool, seeing the Evertonians. Trevor Stephen. Good foot in though by Pickering. Cross from Gary Stevens. In goes Sharp, couldn't get there. Off Gary Bennett. Corner kick again. And Everton really are forcing the issue now. Headed away. Chased down by Bracewell to Trevor Stephen. Trevor Stephen cross. Andy Gray throws himself at it and scores again. Andy Gray has done it again. It's another fantastic header. It's another typical Andy Gray goal. And the Toffees are 2-1 up at Goodison Park in the blink of an eye. 2 goals from Andy Gray. It was a lovely ball in from Trevor Stephen, and Andy Gray said, "I'm having that." And there's only one place that ball is going, and that's the back of the Sunderland net past Chris Turner. 2 for Andy Gray, 2 for Everton, and the Toffees are in front at last at Goodison Park. Well, there's only one name being chanted around Goodison now, And quite right too. He's had such an influence on this young team as Andy Gray. And that moves him on to double figures for the season. 10 goals for Andy Gray. And his goal in the week at Tottenham was vital. That could be every bit as important come the final reckoning. On that occasion he's nudged off the ball by Dave Bennett, and it's a free kick for Everton. Not sure about that, but we'll take it. Taken quickly to Bracewell. Oh, lovely skill. A Cruyff pirouette from Bracewell. Well, Peter Daniel got back at him, but it's another corner for Everton, and Sunderland will be absolutely delighted if it stays at 2-1 at half-time, I'm sure, because Everton are swarming all over them. Kevin Sheedy offers Trevor Stephen the option of a short corner routine, but Stephen, well, he does play it short. This time to Bracewell, back to Sheedy again, bobbles off his shins. Curled in by Kevin Sheedy. That might reach Graham Sharp. Graham Sharp was onside. No, he wasn't. Well, it took a while for the linesman to make his mind up on this near side. He gave himself a bit of thinking time, raised his flag, and called a halt to that particular Everton foray forward, but I'm sure there'll be another one along shortly. Again by Ratcliffe, has been imperious at the back for Everton in this first. Peter Daniel. Sheedy trying to bulldoze his way through. Bennett. Headed away again by Ratcliffe. He's a magnet towards the ball, isn't he, Kevin Ratcliffe? His positional sense is absolutely impeccable. Nothing impeccable about that. Just a aimless lob forward. It'll be a throw-in for Everton. Just ushers Bracewell out of the way and says, I'm starting this attack. Gary Stevens. Great run forward by Gary Stevens. Good ball in as well, but it takes a deflection and is into the arms of Chris Tim. But what a foray forward that was from Gary Stevens. He likes nothing better. The young right backman to join in the attack when he can. Some engine on him. Wallace, nice little reverse ball. Venison, low cross into the penalty area. Walker's there, and Gary Stevens has to scramble it off the line. And again, that was from nowhere. Didn't look to be any danger down this right-hand side. But when Clive Walker just flicked the ball past Neville Southall, Gary Stevens, who used his pace at the attacking zone a few moments ago, had to be on his toes in his own penalty area to clear the ball off the line. Another let-off for Everton. A strange first half this. Everton have totally dominated the half, but they could easily be 3-2 down. Bit of argy-bargy off the ball between Gordon Chisholm and Andy Gray, as you would expect, between a Glaswegian centre-half and a Glaswegian centre-forward. But so far, it's very much advantage Andy Gray. Malfield. I think it was when Peter Daniel got the last touch. It was always drifting off target. Couple of minutes to go. Howard Kendall, I'm sure, will be satisfied with this first half performance. Everton have controlled it with regards to possession and showed excellent composure to recover from the surprise of conceding such an early goal. Midweek. Stevens. Reed again. Stevens again. And the half-volleyed cross lacked the power to to triple the Sunderland defence. Bracewell scrapping away well. I don't think Paul Bracewell liked the original challenge from Peter Daniel, and when the ball dropped at Daniel's feet, it was the ideal opportunity for Bracewell to exact a little bit of retribution. Well watched and well dealt with by John Bailey. He'll be pleased with his first half performance, quite rightly so. A more than able deputy for Pat van den Hal. There's Gray on control. Into the final minute we go. I'm not sure how long Mr. Callow will want to add on. We have seen the Sunderland physio on the field earlier in the half to administer some treatment to Barry Venison. Here is Venison. By Bracewell. Sunderland have just got no time on the ball. The intensity and the ferocity of Everton's play in this first half has been absolutely superb. And whenever Sunderland have had possession of the football, there's been one or two at least blue shirts around them in a flash to win it back again. And it's the Everton ethic, and that's what served them so very well this season, as well as the flair, the imagination and the sheer brilliance on the ball. There's a tenacity about Everton this season, and it's a combination of all those attributes that have sailed the good ship Goodison to the top of the First Division table. Mouthfeel heads it away. Lovely touch by Stephen to Peter Reid. Reid holds it up nicely and finds Gary Stevens. Is there one last chance to get the ball inside the penalty area? Not on that occasion. Lovely ball from Reid to Bracewell. Gary Stevens. Here's Peter Reid again. Use the ball so economically, so well, Everton, and have done throughout this first half. Trevor Stephen, little reverse ball! Inches away. Kevin Sheedy. It was a lovely cross from the right-hand side by Trevor Stephen, and Kevin Sheedy's effort, from which he's taken a knock, is the last piece of action of a pulsating first half. And Sunderland at times have played their part. Ian Wallace certainly played his part in the second minute when he gave the visitors the lead. But after that it was all about Everton and all about Andy Gray. Two quick-fire headers, 2-1 at the break. 35,978 the attendance at Goodison Park this afternoon. The vast majority will have enjoyed that first half, if not the opening 90 seconds, then certainly the rest. What will Len Ashurst have said to his players at half-time? What could he say to his players at half-time to try and stem the tide? They've got to keep the ball better, certainly, and they've given it away again. Peter Reid, he uses it well and finds Bailey. Bailey into Bracewell. Bracewell's cross into the penalty area, cleared by Gary Bennett. Good play by Gary Stevens. Great jump by Andy Gray, and he guides the header down to Graham Sharp. Big free kick. Well, Chisholm getting involved again. This time with Graham Sharp. Once again, two Scotsmen squaring off together. There's plenty more to come from Gray and Sharp and Chisholm. Decent ball in, headed away by Bennett. John Bailey. Then Bennett is there. The play by Sheedy. Bailey crossed into the penalty area, looking for Andy Gray, headed away by Elliott, picked up by Peter Daniel. He plays it to Nick Pickering. Well, Howard Kendall couldn't emphasise enough the importance of that win against Tottenham Hotspur on Wednesday. And there's your archetypal six-pointer, wasn't it? Everton are now 6 points clear of Tottenham Hotspur with a game in hand after that midweek win. The sloppy ball from Gary Stevens finds touch on this near side, and you can see how the shadows have lengthened even more across Goodison Park at the start of this second period. Ball forward from the Sunderland midfield area that bounces harmlessly out of play on this near side. Gary Stevens chucks the ball up this right hand side. Everton filled by Trevor Stephen, but Sunderland win it back again. Cummins with footwork. Venison curls the ball forward. John Bailey is there yet again for Everton. Ratcliffe. Trevor Stephen, but it's a bit of an ambitious ball forward. That'll be a goal kick. Trevor Stephen, not once, twice, had to be on his toes, had to be alert then to avoid getting his ankles wrapped, and he did really well, and so did Graham Sharp. Oh, it's good stuff from Everton. Nice and lively. Bracewell turns, gets a shot away, Paul Bracewell, and Chris Turner dives to his right to make the save, but it was a good approach play again by Everton. To be light on his loafers there, did Trevor Stephen. A couple of strong challenges coming in. He skipped past both of them. John Bailey, headed away by Bennett. Reed. What a ball that is from Paul Bracewell. Measured, if he meant that, it was the best pass of the day. Collected by Trevor Stephen. What a goal! What a fantastic goal for Everton. Trevor Stephen. A fantastic crossfield pass from Paul Bracewell. Taken into his stride by Trevor Stephen. And he lashed an unstoppable shot past Chris Turner. Well, a pity the replay doesn't show that pass from Paul Bracewell, but it shows the fabulously unerring finish from Trevor Stephen. And that is a terrific goal. And that should be game, set and match for Everton. 3-1. Sunderland's wretched away form looks like it's going to continue. Everton's imperious form, home and away, wherever you like, in whatever competition you like, looks like it's going to continue. And we've seen some crackers today, haven't we? And that's right up there. And here he is, Trevor Stephen. Well, England's next international fixture is against Romania in early May, and I'm sure Trevor Stephen will once again be part of it, and I am sure that Bobby Robson will be looking at Paul Bracewell, the architect of that goal. I'm sure he'll be looking at Peter Reid as well, and Gary Stevens and Derek Mountfield, because when you're riding high at the top of the First Division, international honours tend to come your way. Another unseemly challenge in the box involving Graham Sharp. He's put himself about a bit this afternoon, that's for sure. Here he is again. Ooh, did that go out of play? It was a hefty back pass from Sean Elliott. And Turner had to be alert to stop it going out for a corner kick. What a start to the second period for the Toffees. This has been the type of goal that you could watch again and again and again. And once again it ignites the chant of we're going to win the league, we're going to win the league. Well, still got to win this one yet. Here's Pickering. Low ball into the penalty area. And a shooting chance here for Clive Walker. It's well saved by Neville Southall. He seemed to stop momentarily. Seemed to freeze just for a fraction. But Walker was alert and it was a good save by Neville Southall. He's been a virtual spectator for a lot of the game this afternoon. Southall stays on his line, back to goalwards, and Kevin Ratcliffe scrambles it away for another corner kick for Sunderland. We've now got a mountain to climb at Goodison Park to be able to take anything from this game. Bennett goes up again, but it loops over Neville Southall's crossbar and away to safety.
I'd like to repeat that police message for Stephen Wilson, a virtual walk in Wavertree, to the police room as soon as possible. And the police have asked me to repeat it because obviously the guy didn't hear it the first time. So if you're in the ground, that's Stephen Wilson, a virtual walk, Wavertree. I think they would like to see you in the police room as soon as you can, please. Thank you.
That's a nice little bit of tidying up by Sean Elliott, and it gets a generous ripple of applause from the Evertonians. It's easy to applaud the opposition, isn't it, when you're 3-1 ahead and in total control of the game, as Everton are. Bailey heads it away and defends it well. Sheedy looks for Sharp. Oh, that's another heavy challenge. He's taken some punishment this afternoon as Graham Sharp. This time it was Steve Berry. And the referee, Mr. Callow, I think, will put the name Steve Berry into his notebook. Well, he's Liverpool born and bred, is Steve Berry. We're not sure of his allegiance, but there's every chance he's a Liverpool supporter that wanted to leave one on Graham Sharp there, and he certainly did. Sharp gets to his feet. Steve Berry is in the referee's notebook, and I am sure is in Graham Sharp's memory bank. Long way to go yet, Mr. Berry. Gray wins the header. Chisholm wins the second ball. Barry Venison picks it up. Well, he's so unflustered, isn't he, for a young player? Barry Venison made his debut when he was just 17 years of age for Sunderland, and as I say, he's the youngest Wembley captain, having skippered them in the Milk Cup final a couple of weeks ago, but he looks a player, you have to say. So does Peter Reid. Gary Stevens to Trevor Stephen. Nice little reverse pass to Bracewell. Bracewell turns and shoots straight down the throat of Chris Turner, who has been by far the busier of the two goalkeepers this afternoon. And I think it's pretty safe to say that Chris Turner's work is far, far from done this afternoon. Chisholm. Straight down the middle, straight into the arms of Neville Southall. Sharp. Another bizarre chance of Liverpool from the Sunderland supporters in an attempt to wind up the home supporters, and it hasn't worked. There's that forward move from Everton over on that far side, because it will be a throw in for Sunderland. And Mr. Callow wants that taken again, I think. And this time Gary Bennett throws it back to Venison. Venison knocks it long. And John Bailey heads it out to play for another Sunderland throw-in. Little scrap passage of play. Here's Kevin Ratcliffe. Infield to Stephen. That'll do. Safely back to Neville Southall. Bailey. Ratcliffe flicked by Gray. So Gary Bennett reacts quickly to snuff out the danger. There's some nice balls from that left-hand side this afternoon as John Bailey. And I said it in the first half, and I'll say it again in the second, he will be pleased with his performance. And although I suspect Pat van den Hauwe will be straight back in once he's fit, John Bailey has shown that there will be no panic if ever Pat van den Hauwe is sidelined again. Kevin Ratcliffe, an ever-present for Everton this season. Reid sweeps it wide to Sheedy. He controls it back to Bailey. Forward to Bracewell. Reid. I'm not sure if that was meant for Gary Stevens or Trevor Stevens, but between the two of them they managed to work it out. Stephen, oh beautiful. Lovely flick from Trevor Stevens to Gary Stevens. Gary Stevens crossed into the penalty area. Graham Sharp just couldn't get a touch on it. It's so easy on the eye on the right hand side of this combination of Gary Stevens and Trevor Stephen, and it surely won't be long before these two are performing that sort of manoeuvre in the white international jersey of England. Approaching the hour mark. So far so good for Everton and Howard Kendall. A 4-point lead at the top with those two precious games in hand. Looks to have been preserved. Well, they might be 3-1 ahead, Everton, but look at their scrapping away for every single ball. Sharp and Gray are dropping back into the midfield whenever they're needed. There really is a work ethic, a tremendous work ethic in this Everton squad. Here's Bailey again. Another good ball forward. Another good touch by Sharp. Sunderland win it back, and that's a strong challenge in the midfield area by Peter Reid, who just says to Vic Callow, fair enough. I was late. I got there as quick as I could. Kick for Sunderland. Well, I suppose while the deficit is only 2 goals, Sunderland will still feel that there's half a chance here. Haven't really looked like scoring, but if they can fashion one, then we'll never know. Wins that challenge, and the ball cannons off Peter Reid for a throw-in on this near side for Sunderland. Dropped in short to Berry, and field to Daniel. And Daniel is just nudged over by Paul Bracewell. Free kick for Sunderland again. Good hold-up play by Graham Sharp. Trevor Stephen takes it in his stride. And the challenge comes in from Peter Daniel. And Gary Stevens, if he wants to, can launch the ball into the penalty area. There's not a great deal to aim at, and no, he goes square to Bracewell. Little clip for Andy Gray. Goes down to the challenge of Sean Elliott, and can't believe that he doesn't get the free kick. Sean Elliott indicates that Andy Gray simulated, shall we say. It's a very brave accusation to make of Andy Gray. Bailey cushions the header. Doesn't find touch though. Cummins, Walker, Cummins again. Oh, that looked like handball. And it was. From Clive Walker. Easy decision for Mr. Callow to make. Barry Venison picks it up for Sunderland. Looks for Walker. Ratcliffe heads it away. Peter Reid volleys it towards John Bailey. Nice control by Bailey. Forward ball by Bailey is towards Bracewell. Bracewell wins it in the air, but Gary Bennett is there for Sunderland, as he has been so often this afternoon. Cummins looks for Nick Pickering on this near side. Pickering's first time ball, though, is nowhere near Ian Wallace. And Derek Mountfield has all the time in the world to roll it back to Neville Southall and say, there you go, have a touch of the ball, big man. There you go, there's the message from our friend in the crowd. Let's have some more goals. Good win by Sharp. Oh, and Andy Gray just couldn't pick it up. There's Chisholm to Pickering. Oh, good play. Excellent play from Pickering. Runs out of space eventually, but nice bit of football from the 21-year-old. So North East boy is Nick Pickering, and was capped by England as a teenager, you may remember. Played in that what was virtually a bounce game against Australia a couple of years ago. But it's an England cap, and nobody can take that away from Nick Pickering. Scooped forward by Cummins. Walker foraging away for possession on the edge of the box. Good strong tackle by Bracewell. Trevor Stephen. Ooh, almost played it through to Graham Sharp. And Everton can just up the tempo here at Goodison Park this afternoon. I get the impression that there could be more in this for them. There's Trevor Stephen, who once again has eased majestically through this game. Reid. Sharp to Andy Gray. Nice passing football again from Everton. Sheedy to Bracewell. In the end, though, there's no way through. Kevin Ratcliffe from the afterburners, and there aren't many that can outrun Kevin Ratcliffe. Stevens looks for Gray, and Gray will get the second ball. It was an unconvincing header. Oh, and the little reverse slip towards Peter Reid was a nice idea from Andy Gray, but the angle was just a little bit too acute on that occasion. Harry Bennett to Stan Cummins. Forward mover was Nick Pickering. Cummins, though, brings the ball in field and lays it back to Steve Berry. Pickering to Berry again. Cummins again. Nice little bit of build-up play from Sunderland. Little triangular passing and moving. Elliott to Venison. Wallace. Peter Reid for company, but holds him off nicely, does Ian Wallace. 3 caps for Scotland. Ian Wallace. Such competition though for places, isn't there? In the with regard to attacking options for Scotland. No more so than Sharp and Gray. Here's John Bailey. Headed away by Elliott. Trevor Stephen will get on the end of this, and Trevor Stephen almost managed to wriggle his way through, but the ricochet favoured Sunderland. Venison forward again over Wallace, and Derek Mountfield and Kevin Ratcliffe by and large have dealt well with the threat of Clive Walker and Ian Wallace. It is Walker who missed the penalty, of course. It turned out to be a rather crucial miss in the Milk Cup final a couple of weeks ago. From Trevor Stephen. Well, he wasn't on the same wavelength as Graham Sharp, but it was a nice little pirouette again from Trevor Stephen away from Nick Pickering. And we are just over 3/4 of the way through this contest. It's been an interesting and entertaining contest thus far, and Everton are leading by 3-1. Oh, terrible ball from Dave Bennett, and again the bounce favours Sunderland, but Peter Reid wins it back in determined fashion. Now, real chance for Everton to break. Kevin Sheedy on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Sharp's in there, and it's gone in. It's in the back of the net. Well, your caption says Graham Sharp, but I'm not so sure. And I think the celebrations, or the non-celebrations from Graham Sharp, tell their story. Let's have a look here. Sharp slid in, and that has been poked into the back of the net by Gordon Chisholm. And goodness me, how's your luck? Gordon Chisholm scored the own goal that settled the Milk Cup final at Wembley 2 weeks ago. On that occasion, he diverted an effort from former Everton player Asa Hartford into the back of the net. And this afternoon at Goodison, he has diverted an effort from Graham Sharp into the back of the net. And I think Graham Sharp's reaction was just about the giveaway. It wasn't his usual exuberant celebration, shall we say, because I think he knew, and it was duly confirmed afterwards, that Gordon Chisholm did get the final touch. Here's Pickering for Sunderland. Good challenge comes in from Derek Mountfield. Well, as a contest, that really is game over, I think, as far as Sunderland are concerned. And it will plunge the men from Wearside into even more trouble at the wrong end of the First Division table. Promoted 5 years ago, and their 5-year stay in the top flight is under real scrutiny now, Sunderland. Whereas Everton are only looking ahead. 4-1, still could be more goals in it, and it's a double over Sunderland that neatly bookends this run, which is surely now going to stretch to 19 games undefeated. Game number 1 was the 2-1 win at Sunderland on Boxing Day. Game number 19 is, well, at the moment it's 4-1 at Goodison Park in early April. Fabulous run of results for Everton. And Everton's consistency, by the way, is summed up by this statistic that I'll give you now. When Everton won that game against Sunderland on Boxing Day, there is just one change to the lineup this afternoon. As Paul Bracewell forces a cross into the penalty area. It's headed away by Gary Bennett, but I think the ball was out of play on this near side. Yes, it's astonishing, really. 19 games ago, Everton beat Sunderland at Roker Park, and it was the same 11 that's on parade today, apart from at right back, where Gary Stevens is in for Ian Atkins, who had a rare run out up in the northeast that afternoon. And that is a measure of the sheer consistency of Everton's game, as John Clinkard makes an appearance. It's Kevin Sheedy that's just getting a little bit of attention to his ankle, was it? And John Clinkard just wants a word with Peter Reid. Andy Gray just wants a bottle of water. So does Kevin Ratcliffe. There's a man down as well for Sunderland, so a little break in play. And it's Steve Berry, who needs a little bit of treatment.
Then at the end of the game, you will be escorted back to your transport, and please bear in mind that the coaches have been switched. The police will inform you as to where they are. That's a Sunderland transport message. Please stay where you are, and the police will escort you back to your transport. Thank you.
Trevor Stephen to Gary Stevens. It's panned in a little bit, Gary Stevens, but he does well to force the ball away. Headed back by Chisholm. Look at Andy Gray. Still wants to be part of the action, doesn't he? Everton 4-1 up, but he's still covering as much grass as he can. Oh, nice little dummy by Graham Sharp, and Gary Bennett rather read it nicely. Wallace. There's Gary Stevens. Bennett. Cummins gives it away. Ratcliffe picks it up. Back to Mountfield. Gary Stevens to Trevor Stephen. Infield to Mountfield again. Ratcliffe again. Well, we mentioned before that it's a massive week in not just the season for Everton, the history of Everton Football Club, and it's off to a flyer this afternoon. And Everton have won another corner. Peter Reid trying to wriggle his way through. Wins a corner. The Park end. And Howard Kendall makes his substitution. Alan Harper is on to replace Kevin Sheedy. And Peter Daniel has made way for Sunderland to replace by John Cook. Peter Daniel, who's done okay this afternoon. He was a teammate of Andy Gray's when Wolverhampton Wanderers won the League Cup a few years ago. And he makes way for 22-year-old John Cook. He's actually 21, he'll be 22 later this month. Sure, the instructions to John Cook are just go out there, sample the atmosphere and enjoy yourself, because I'm not sure that anybody in a red and white striped jersey can do a great deal to affect the outcome of this game as we approach the last quarter of an hour at Goodison Park. Everton sitting comfortably atop a 4-1 scoreline. Kevin Ratcliffe. Be over Andy Gray. Chisholm gets ahead to it, so does Elliott. Chisholm's there again, the big Scotsman. Get after that, he says to Clive Walker. Walker chases it down and gets there before Kevin Ratcliffe. Walker spins away from Ratcliffe. Plays it to the right-hand side. Low cross comes into the penalty area, but it's blocked by Derek Mountfield. And it'll be a rare corner for Sunderland. Goes Bennett, that's a touch one. Brings in there as well. Chisholm's there too. He pushes it to this near side and then chases it down and just holds off the attentions of Pickering and plays it back to Gary Stevens. Stevens in field to Trevor Stephen, but it's all a little bit too congested and it needs to be tidied up inside the Everton penalty area. And now the Blues can break. Which well just slows things down though. Well, they're still chanting, the Sunderland fans. They're a good set of supporters, those who have travelled from Wearside this afternoon. They couldn't have travelled here with much more than hope rather than expectation. But they've backed their players vociferously and well this afternoon, you have to say, so hats off to them. Because as I mentioned earlier, their top flight status is hanging by a thread. Trevor Stephen almost getting in on that one. Steve Berry and Chris Turner maybe not on the same wavelength. Cummins. Brink, heavy touch but gets away with it. Good strong challenge though from Gary Stevens. Good interception by John Bailey. Look at that from Bailey to Andy Gray. And it just wouldn't sit for the volley that I'm sure Andy Gray wanted to have a go at. Here's Trevor Stephen. He does have a go, and it wasn't far away from Chris Turner's right-hand post. But let me take you back to that crossfield ball from John Bailey. Anything that Paul Bracewell can do, so can I, says the Everton left-back. It was a fabulous ball, and you could see the intention from Andy Gray, but it just wouldn't sit for him. And the Sunderland supporters again taunting the Evertonians with that song. It's actually from a 1945 musical called Carousel. There you go. Mountfield wins the header. Picked up by Berry, but a good strong challenge comes in. Gary Stevens. Just over 10 minutes to go at Goodison Park. The sun, as you can see, still doing its best to break through here on Merseyside. And the sun is certainly shining on Everton Football Club at the moment. Top of the table, European Cup Winners' Cup semi-final on Wednesday, the first European semi-final in the club's history, and yet another FA Cup semi-final on Saturday against Luton. Trevor Stephen. Brave block. Breaks for Bracewell. Bailey. Another great ball to Alan Harp. Nodded back to Trevor Stephen. Now Gary Stevens. It's lovely to watch. It really is. Sharp wins the header. Gray wins the header. And it's smothered by Chris Turner. Well, he scored a hat-trick against Fortuna Sittard here last month. And, well, for the best part of an hour, he's been on a hat-trick again as Andy Gray. Time ebbing away. Well, the transformation for Everton Football Club is best summed up when you consider that this corresponding weekend last year, April 1984, Everton were 13th in the First Division table, and had anybody suggested that they would be title contenders this time around, well, you'd have struggled to make yourself believed. To put it into some sort of context, and no disrespect whatsoever to Ken Brown and his Norwich City side, the side that currently sit 13th in the First Division are Norwich City. Are they likely to win the First Division title next season? Make your own mind up, but that's the transformation that Howard Kendall and Colin Harvey and Mick Heaton have orchestrated here at Goodison Park. It really has been astonishing, but Everton are where they thoroughly and utterly deserve to be, and that is top of the First Division pile. Who'd bet against them now? Long cross comes in. Andy Gray challenges Chris Turner again, and on this occasion Chris Turner comes out on top and gathers the ball safely. Cummins. Oh, offside flag is up. And Clive Walker puts the ball in the back of the net again. And it's a pat on the head for Kevin Ratcliffe. He may have got away with one there, you know. Again, it's one you'd like to see again. I think the first one in the first half was just offside, but Clive Walker may well feel himself a little unfortunate, shall we say, when he has a look at that one after the final whistle. Harper chased this down, surrounded by two Sunderland defenders, one of whom kicks the ball away in disgust as Vic Callow gives Alan Harper a free kick. Gary Stevens swings it in. Sharp and Gray and Mountfield are in there again, but nothing comes of it. Bailey controls the forward pass to Trevor Stephen. Trevor Stephen will scrap away for possession and will win a throw-in. Still battling, still fighting Everton. Howard Kendall will not let them rest on their laurels, and as a squad of players, I'm sure they don't want to rest on their laurels. Gary Stevens. Well, that was a tired attempt, I think, is the kindest thing that you say about that. Probably thought it was worth an effort, but it was never likely to trouble Chris Turner. And it really is now just a matter of how long Mr. Callow will add on for injury time at the end of this fixture, because the outcome has long been secured and Everton will stay top of the First Division. The ghost of 1970 could be ready to be laid. Let's not talk about titles just yet. Howard Kendall won't hear of it. Harper, Bracewell, Ratcliffe. The names roll off the tongue and they are on the cusp of legendary status, these players. They've unbeaten in the last 19 now. If they can just stay unbeaten for another dozen games or so, maybe one or two more, then their place in history will be secure forever at this football club. That's how close Everton are, and these players to a little bit of immortality. A Sharp wins a free kick, battling on all three fronts for silverware. Gary Stevens will take this free kick. Up goes Gray, wins the header. Back in from Trevor Stephen. Oh, Graham Sharp. I was just about to say chance for Graham Sharp, but it was a lovely clearance in the end by Nick Pickering. Just took it off Sharp's boot as the goal was gaping. Short corner, Stevens, Sharp trying to turn, trying to find Bracewell. Still alive, Gary Stevens. Trevor Stephen. That will drift for a corner, will it? Just about, I think it did. Well, the Punchers would love another goal. I'm sure everybody would, but at 4-1, it's certainly job done for Everton. It's been a comprehensive victory. Gary Stevens goes for goal! What a good effort that was. Significantly better than the one that was significantly closer just a couple of moments ago. It sat up nicely for him, but the execution from the right foot of Gary Stevens, the trusty right foot of Gary Stevens, was top draw. And it certainly had Chris Turner scrambling, that's for sure. Be another throw in that. The head of Walker, will it? No, says the linesman on this near side. Throw in for Sunderland. crucially as well, no injuries this afternoon for Everton. It's the last thing they need at the start of such a big week, and Graham Sharp wins another free kick. He's got through a mountain of work this afternoon, Graham Sharp. He really has taken one for the team today. Andy Gray will get the headlines and applaudits, but Graham Sharp, although thus far has been unable to add to the 24 goals he's already plundered this season, has given a thoroughly competent centre-half's performance, made himself available time and time again. And it's been a good contest between Andy Gray, Graham Sharp and Sean Elliott, Gary Bennett and Gordon Chisholm. Will there be one last chance? Is there another goal in this game? Not from that throw-in from Gary Stevens. Wallace gives the ball away. Good movement down this right-hand side by the fresh legs of Alan Harper. But he can't get the ball inside the Sunderland penalty area. And Gary Bennett, who's defended well today with the visitors. And clear his lines as we enter the final minute of normal time. Kevin Ratcliffe, he wants to get in on the act. He's going to pull the trigger, you know. And that's probably why Kevin Ratcliffe doesn't get forward that often. Derek Mountfield is on 9 goals for the season. Kevin Ratcliffe is on 1 for the last 2 years. But you can't blame the skipper for wanting to have a go. He's defended immaculately again this afternoon. And it's been a lesson, hasn't it, for Sunderland. They've stuck at it manfully. Their supporters have been excellent. They made a decent start to the game, but by and large this has been true to form this afternoon at Goodison Park. There was a surprise winner of the Grand National last weekend. There will be no surprise winner at Goodison Park today. Callow has checked his watch, and the punishment for Sunderland is nearly over. Stan Cummins, Steve Berry, Venison, Elliott. Look at that, right till the last Sunderland are under pressure whenever they're in possession, and again and again. And that's what makes this Everton side so special. Seconds remaining. In fact, there is the final whistle. Vic Callow blows the final whistle, and have we seen a championship performance from the men who would be kings. 10 games to go. Everton are 4 points clear with 2 games in hand on Manchester United. The Blues have waited 15 years to taste title success. That wait may soon be over. This was every bit as convincing as the scoreline would suggest. It's not over yet, but surely the blue and white ribbons are on standby.